Well, greetings. Welcome back, blade fans, blade lovers, Maxace. Yes, lovers. Such a special knife today that I decided to do a full reveal. Warning, this is not a cheap one, and it may not be your cup of tea, as the Brits like to say, and we now all say. It is a Maxace. I'm going to give you the full reveal. Because it came in this very nice Pelican style case. I think we call all these hard cases Pelican now because they were the first ones to come out with it, or one of the first ones to make them for us in the military and what have you. But here we go. Double latches here. And no, the knife ain't that big, but the box is. Here we go. This is what you get. We get a special card loaded with $1,000 you can spend on Maxace. No. Congratulations, and that's about it. No specs or anything. The requisite microfiber cleaning cloth. That's what the knife was in. And a whole set of replacement hardware as though it's going to begin falling out right at the first moment. I think it's nice to get this. I've never lost anything other than maybe one screw out of a knife now and then. This we're going to set aside because this is special. I'm going to show you why in a moment. I'm going to put that over there. But there's your pivot. There are some tubes. There's some screws. And so that I don't lose all this stuff, and we're going to get straight to the look at the knife. I want to put it back in here. Let's see, get them in there. Okay, they're in there. We're going to seal them up so they don't go anywhere. So, knife aside, all this stuff in the box aside, and I mean, that's about the size of a small handgun. You could, save it for that if you wanted to. Here we go. What do we've got today? Well, we've got the Sandstorm 2.0. Now, it's confusing because Maxace has come out with the Sandstorm V2. They have come out with the Sandstorm, the original. They've come out with the Sandstorm K, which I'll show you in a moment, the budget version of this. But let's take a look at the version. There's two available at White Mountain. They might still be out there. I'm going to give you the link. This beautiful, it looks black, but it's gray. They advertise it as black, and I told Justin up at White Mountain, no, it ain't black. It's a kind of a medium gray, okay? The lighting being what it is, hopefully you can see that. And I don't know if we need to bump up the exposure or not. We're going to kind of leave it where it is. Maybe we'll bump it up just one notch. There. See how that got a little brighter? Miracle of digital photography. Okay, so that's looking a little bit more like what I'm seeing around the other side of the camera. And what do we got here? It is an integral knife. Integral, integral, same thing. There's the Maxace logo. I think it might even be Midnight Cat Studio on the back. They're kind of one and the samey. You can see the giant thumb studs and where those thumb studs rest up here in the handle, which is, there is no pin. You got thumb studs, which is why they're so large, locking up on that. And see that hole? We're going to show you something about that in a minute. We've got a really nice clip that says Sandstorm, and they use the numerals 2 here, but they're using V2, not V, 2.0. See, I'm already getting confused. They use 2.0 when describing this. I think they just ran out of ways to describe all the new iterations of Sandstorm. Are you ready? I'm done talking for the time being. Ba-dum! Look at that faceted blade recurve. Wow, kind of like a trailing edge to the termination of the edge on that. It is a wicked looking blade if you like these complex things. And you may not want to dull it too quickly, although it is an M390, and I think they're saying 59 to 61. That may turn you off, but if you're not going to make this into an everyday working knife, slicing whatever, you may not need to sharpen it that often. So maybe the hardness is important, but maybe that'll do you, that 59 to 61. Little bit of jimping there on the ramp. And you can see I've got a good 1.5 inches left over in my medium large hands. Holy crap-a-rollies. And we've even got a place for the index finger should you want to choke up, because there's that little platform there. And if you don't get up here on the point, you're okay. Stay behind the blade. Well, it's gorgeous. The other version is a flat titanium handle with the same blade. And it has like these holes, ventilations in the back. I happen to be a big fan of the rock pattern. I've got quite a few black rock knives, and he's got the rock pattern on his. I've got some others where they're using the rock pattern. Love it. Just love it. It gives you that kind of primitive look, but with a extremely refined, almost space age sort of blade. Check out this stippling they put inside that indent fuller, whatever you want to call it. And do you think we have enough meat out at the point? I think we'll get by. No, that is not a frail point, folks. That is not at all. All right, measurement time, and drum roll as we get up to the weight. 10 point, call it like a 10.15. How about that? And 4¼ inches, maybe a little better than that. Call it a 4.3 blade length. Cutting edge, we get into like a 4.4. Where's my other tool here? Okay. In inches. Oh boy. Big honking fat handle. 0.69 inches, okay? No, it's not a slim little knife that you put in your gym shorts, I'm sorry, or your jogging pants. Oh, it's a 0.19 blade stock, which is big, thick, 4-point. Oh, if I don't put any pressure on it, I'm going to try one more time. One more time. Ah, what is it? 5.3? Could it be? Nope. Yeah, it's supposed to be 5, I think, but I'm getting like a 4.9. You know what? I'm going to call it 5mm blade stock. It certainly qualifies. All right, well, here is the drum roll part. Brrr. Yeah, I've had a lot of coffee this morning, so I'm a little more animated than usual. You people won't be falling asleep, hopefully. All right, I'll zoom in a little bit. And we've got 10.35 ounces. 10.35 ounces. That's why it's not going to be a light little EDC knife. No, it's what you would call an art knife. It would be what you call a rugged knife. It locks up like unbelievable. When that thing is open, it's crazy. Look how large that hardened steel insert is, and look at how they sculpted the rock pattern right into that hardened steel insert. And rather than it being on the inside, it's on the outside. That's impressive. And that made up surface there, and there you see right in your face, M390 on the underside of the tang. I would call the lockup 30%. Pretty good, just about right. Feels comfortable in the hand. I mean, the ergos are really nice. You wouldn't think that they would be. And our balance is right there, right where it should be, right in that finger choil, finger groove. I don't know. Big old flat on the top there, nice swedge. And yeah, let's show you this. Couple of things, actually. Here is a double lock. This is the turret style double lock that they put on their Sandstorm K as well. That means once you turn that, you cannot disengage the lock bar. But they aren't going to stop there. No, and I don't know why, but it's outrageous. You get this pin that comes with it. The pin is magnetic, it's steel, okay, and there's a hole. And a few turns, as you're defending your life, you pull that little thing out to make sure the knife isn't going to fold on your hand. No. Now you have a fixed blade knife. Let's face it, that is not going anywhere. You've got the turret lock. You've got the insert, the screw in there. Even if I turn this off, right, so that I can disengage this, it ain't going anywhere. A little bit of rock there. I mean, those tolerances aren't supposed to be so tight that you don't get a little bit of wiggle. You don't get it with the lock bar engaged, of course. And yeah, it sticks out a little bit, but if for some reason you needed a fixed blade and you didn't carry a fixed blade, you've got that along with all the rest of the hardware. Crazy stuff, absolutely crazy stuff. Well, we're going to attempt the all-important paper cut because we don't have any pork here today. It gets kind of messy on the table. All right, we've got really two edges here. We've got the recurve and we've got the belly. So, oh man. Oh, they did it pretty well. Let's see. Let's get that belly going here. Come on, belly. Yeah, it's sharp. Just a different geometry. And it's actually piercy for having a pretty thick point. But here is where you get your razor blade, right in that recurve. Oh, yeah. And when, go away, paper. And when you're drawing, you've got that secondary point, like a tanto, right? So when you get these multifaceted grinds, that's what you get. So on the cut, if you start in close enough, you're encountering that point, which really starts like a secondary cut. It's interesting stuff. There's your really nice machine satin there. Really well done. You've got horizontal satin on the flat, and you go vertical again once you get to the swedge. And then, as I said, this is like stippling, basically. It's kind of neat how they do that. Okay, comparison time. We've got quite a few today. Here's the Sandstorm K in K110 steel and in the G10 handle. Now you can see they did the rock pattern sort of stuff here too, but not as deep, not as sculpted as you're getting on the premium Sandstorm. And if we line them up, I get exactly the same length knife. So they kept the dimensions the same. Blade, obviously, the profile is different. We've got just one continuous sweep here, which is quite nice with a clip, and a forward swedge, a forward swale, I would call it. I learned that term from Bob DeMarco, swale. I never knew about swale. I knew about whales, but not swales. I guess, we'd call it a gentle swoop or what have you. So here you've got your jimping back here. You've got a little up here. Picked this up a couple of years ago. I think they've even changed the K version recently. And yep, there's that turret style lock there too, although it's a little too easy to turn on this one. I've never had it accidentally disengage. And that's it for the three Maxaces. I wanted to show you the Babylon, the original Babylon button lock, because it's got that same humongous tower-like thumb stud on it. See, they all do, right? Very much the same there. Check the hardware on this, by the way, and it is T8 on the body screws, and it is T10 on that pivot and on the thumb stud. So I think you'll be happy with that. No T6s on this knife whatsoever. But you can see next to the Babylon, this is big. It is big. A good almost 2 inches, 1.75 inches longer. But I wanted to show you that. Very similar buttons on these are thumb studs. It is a button lock. The Berserker from PMP. This is also a big knife, and I love it. Really crazy Tonto. But it is nowhere near as long as the Sandstorm. And the blade is coming up on it, maybe 1/2 inch longer here. So I've got a pretty good sized knife here. What is the blade on this one? 4 inches. Yeah, so 4.3 inches, 4 inches. Beautiful knife also, all titanium. Blue pivot and screws. Love this knife. Comes in a box as well. And I had one more here, didn't I? Yes, I do. From Miguron, the Prayer. It is a way crazy Tonto, if you call it that, with double points on the Tonto. Really, really weird. Also a thick, massive blade. And this one's S35. So, yes, M390 on that guy. M390, I think, on the Berserker. Got to look sometimes. I'm not going to look too closely, but it's pretty sure it's a M390 steel. So the Prayer, P-R-E-Y-E-R, as an animal preying on another animal. We've got about 1.25 inches shorter. Still a massive handle, you know, thick, massive, full titanium handle. Well, sure, why not? Let's bring out the Rat 1. So for you Rat 1 fans, that's what it looks like next to the perennial Rat 1 from Ontario. And I think Ontario was bought out by another company. I think they're going to continue. That's as much as I know. And if you wanted to see it next to a Griptilian, well, why not? Because I've got the Griptilian always in the wings. There you go. The Griptilian's feeling a little inadequate. The size, everything, not always. Okay. You get the perspective. It's a big knife. It's a heavy knife. It's an impressive knife. It's a user or an art knife, whatever you want it to be. You get 10% off if you use my discount code at White Mountain. That would be Old Sword, 10% off. 10% off of this one's $40, so now you get the idea, right? Okay, folks. It's been great having you watching this, and I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, don't forget to give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, I hit 7,000 subscribers. That's fine. That's dandy. Would like to have a few more, perhaps. So tell your friends about my channel. This Old Sword signing off.